All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we have another example of a developer and a studio deciding to fully embrace DEI and ESG, and this one is going to be a painful one for a lot of fans of their video games, but unfortunately, I do have to be the bearer of bad news. Apparently, Bandai Namco has now gone all in on DEI after learning about it, ironically, from Western media, and has said the following: "I realize that not being represented may nullify a person's existence, even to the point of discrimination."
For a modern gaming audience.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Bandai Namco has unfortunately decided that they are going to go mega woke, okay? Mega woke. It's not even like light woke. We're talking mega woke, and it's quite unfortunate for people who are fans of their games, like the upcoming Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Hopefully that game won't be very woke, considering it was already made for a while now, but still, you never know. It is sad news to also always report on companies that we have loved for many years that decided to want to get woke for ESG and DEI, but it looks like they want to try to learn the hard way. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says a Bandai Namco rep has confirmed that after learning about the creativity killing concept from various Western sources, the Japan-based video game developer is fully dedicated to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion within their I don't know why this is funny. Within their games. It says this turn for the developer of the Tenkin, Super Robot Wars, and Pac-Man franchises was revealed courtesy of a presentation given by a representative from their quality assurance department, Okuma Murai, during the 2024 entry of the annual Computer Entertainment Developers Conference, an annual trade show in which members of the East Asian video game industry come together to discuss the practical aspects of their respective business operations. Now, we've been talking about for a while a multitude of Japanese companies and Japanese studios, whether it's through animation, manga, video games, movies, TV, it doesn't matter. A lot of Japanese studios are unfortunately starting to get into the DEI business, starting to get into the ESG business. And the reason why I say that is because that's exactly what it is, right? This is not about being morally superior. This is not about companies giving a crap about what your social issues are, because they don't. None of them care about what you have to say about your social issues. However, a lot of them have learned that there is a massive amount of money to be made from very cheap, low-interest ESG DEI loans that they can pass off to their executives to push certain aspects of ESG and DEI that will then make them profits on the back end. It may not make them profits on the front end, because we see what happens when you push ESG and DEI in video games. A lot of them end up going broke, and the developers end up closing down. But I think the Japanese are a little bit smarter than that, and they're probably going to find a way to utilize ESG and DEI in a way that still works for them culturally. It says, titled Aiming to be Global in Expression as well, D&I Initiatives, the panel per a recap provided by Japanese video game news outlet 4Gamer and machine translated by Deep L, saw Murai begin by confirming that the supposed reason for the company's turn to DEI was a desire to broaden the scope of our content and expose it to a wider variety of game players. I'm telling you right now, Wukong, Black Myth Wukong, has completely and utterly decimated that narrative. If you do not believe me, you should probably go backtrack at this point. At this point in time, backtrack on this statement, because Wukong has come out and proven that you don't have to see anybody for people to connect with it in mass. You don't have to see anybody represented on screen in order for people to want to play the game in mass, right? Black Myth Wukong has over 2.4 million concurrent players for almost 2 weeks now, going strong. 2.4 million concurrent players, millions of sales, 10 million plus copies being sold across all platforms and rising exponentially quick. And at the end of the day, not a single person who bought that game saw themselves in the game. It's impossible, at least not from a literal standpoint, right? They might have saw themselves in the game wishing they were, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, and role-playing as that, or whatever the case may be. But that's not actually physically seeing yourself, which is what ESG and DEI tries to push. It says, to this end, the QA rep admitted that in order to expand their operations, they must take into consideration the taste of their prospective audiences. And what she had learned from her overseas partners was that DEI was one of, if not the biggest hot button issue for Western players. This right here is the problem. This is the problem. You have Japanese studios, Japanese developers, Japanese entertainers that are sitting there meeting up with Western studios, Western entertainers, and listening to what they have to say and taking it all in and thinking it's fact. These studios in the West are trying their best to push this narrative out here in Japan, China, and all that stuff. They're doing their absolute damnness to try to make it a thing because it gives them money, right? It gets their diversity consultants hired because most of them do come either from the United States or from Canada. So it gets them all hired. They're all in their pocket, and it leads to problems. I'm telling you right now, you need to stop listening to Western developers. It is never going to end well for you if you continue listening to the same people who constantly fail. They have a track record of failure. I don't understand why you would want to listen to any of them when they can't provide with you a single woke video game that has actually been extremely successful in the last couple of years. A lot of them try to tie themselves to Baldur's Gate 3, but nobody was calling Baldur's Gate 3 extremely woke. Everybody was making fun of the furry stuff. Everybody was making fun of the bear sex stuff. That was obvious. But ultimately, just because a game has an extremely in-depth character creator that allows you to make damn near anybody, including non-binary characters, that doesn't mean that the game is inherently woke. We've been saying that for so long now. You got to look at the actual gameplay, which, by the way, is extremely rewarding, a lot of fun, and has a fantastic story that keeps you hooked with multiple endings and everything under the sun. Like, you can actually partake in that game and not feel a single ounce of wokeness in it whatsoever. And yet the people who are looking for that stuff in the character creator are able to get that, make their characters, and by the way, never speak about it because they barely post it unless it's on an R34 forum, but still, they're able to do what they want. So no, having a character creator that gives you the ability to be damn near anything you want, that's been around for ages. That doesn't mean that it's woke. It never was woke before, and it's not woke now. But it says that, curiously, Miura then put forth her working definition of DEI, which described as a state in which diverse individuals are respected and can demonstrate their abilities in a fair environment and under fair conditions. My God, bro. They got the Japanese feeling bad for minorities now. This is crazy. They're going to start treating them like little pets. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you need to eat now? Do you know how to eat? Do you know how to bathe? Like, that's literally how they treat these people. With this in mind, the Bandai Namco rep then argued that while representation and diversity are not legally mandated in Western media productions, the concepts must still be given proper weight when developing titles for release outside of Asia because their inclusion, no pun intended, will make a given game more attractive to set up. No, it won't. No, it won't. See, this is the problem. You are believing what they're telling you, that you need to be able to showcase maximum diversity, maximum equity, maximum inclusion in your video game in order for it to reach its biggest audience. That is not true. Black Myth Wukong has completely and utterly proven that to be a lie. So there's no reason for you to do this other than you have ESG scores you have to hit. You have money and funding that you're trying to attain, and you're trying to hide it under the guise of social justice. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.